In this video we will be looking at the assembly of the Uskin Models TE5 Smokebox. This set comprises of a collection of brass castings which assemble into a replacement smokebox for a Wilesco or Mammoth traction engine. But first, they need the mould lines and feed-in gates filed off. Once this is done, the chimney base is then opened out with a 10mm drill bit before the whole casting is clamped into the lathe chuck to bore out the inside so this slips onto the boiler. The smokebox is then bored out with a long reach boring tool, so this allows the smokebox to fit either a Wilesco or Mammoth boiler. This is important as these both have different diameter boiler barrels. Having finished the turning of the lathe, the edges are cleaned up with a deburring tool. The smokebox then has a hole drilled in the left hand side in line with the chimney base for the exhaust manifold. This is drilled first with a 3mm drill, then opened up with a 6mm drill to clear the manifold base. Then the chimney flange bolts and the chimney base themselves are drilled through to clear 12 PA bolts for securing the two together. with the manifold tightly clamped in the vise and the depth stop set, this is drilled out first with a 3mm drill bit in both directions, and then opened up with a 3.5mm drill bit to a depth of 4mm to allow the 1/8 diameter blast pipe to slip inside through the smoke box inside. With the first stage of fabrication of the smokebox now complete, it's now ready to have the smokebox door locking plate and manifold silver soldered in place. Flux is applied on the back of the smokebox ring and a filleted silver solder placed in the gap. At the same time, the manifold is fluxed ready, as it is the locating hole on the side. This is important as the flux will stop the brass tarnishing during the silver soldering of the locking plate. The manifold is now placed in its position. You'll notice how the flux immediately bubbles up with the residual heat from the smoke box. This is then brought up to temperature and silver solder applied. A 70mm section of 1/8 copper pipe is cut and cleaned up, along with a fillet, filed down section of plastistrut rod. This slides inside the tube. A short section of 2.5mm mains cable is used as a template to match the pipe. and test fitted first. The copper pipe is first annealed to soften it so this can be formed over a round bar. This is allowed to cool before the plastic rod is inserted inside to stop the pipe collapsing during bending. Once this is formed over the round bar, the plastic is then burnt out and the pipework cleaned up. The Smokebox door hinge is now soldered in place and adjusted to sit flush and true on the face of the Smokebox. Once this is done, the locking bar is drilled and tapped for the 10BA through bolt. The perch bracket fits under the Smokebox and provides a secure mounting point for the front axle assembly and towing pin housing. This is now set up with the aid of a combination square and marker pen to locate the fixing holes. These are marked through and the Smokebox is now drilled and tapped for 10BA hex head bolts. The footboard bracket is now drilled and bolted in place on the Smokebox side. This is where the maintenance board is bolted onto underneath the Wilesco cylinder. Once this is done, the protruding bolt ends are ground off inside the Smokebox with a Dremel to allow the boiler to slip inside, using the perch bracket bolts as stops. The copper pipe which we saw earlier has been cleaned up and pre-soldered with soft solder. This is now inserted inside the manifold in the Smokebox with the tail exiting up through the chimney base. This is then soldered in place with heat being applied through the outside of the manifold to draw the solder inside, giving a secure fixing. So here we have a completed TE5 Smokebox ready to be fitted. Thank you for watching. Remember to check out our other videos covering projects and how-to videos. Our full range of products can be found on uskinmodels.com. To keep up to date, click the subscribe tab.